I did not plan to fall in love in a pharmacy line. At 70, I planned lists. Milk, vitamin D, a card for my friend recovering from surgery. I planned my morning walks and the route that avoids the steep hill. I even planned which counter to stand by while waiting on a refill because it had a sturdy chair. I was not planning a life. He stood 2 people behind me, a winter hat tugged low, a jacket the colour of rust, the kind you keep because it has deep pockets. He held a small paper number the clerk had handed him and kept checking it as if the number might change under his thumb. The line moved slowly. Flu shots were advertised, and it seemed half the town had decided today was the day. The clerk called my name and then asked me to wait because the pharmacist was tied up with someone who had many questions. I stepped aside to make room. He did the same. We ended up at the shelf with lotion and heating pads, the place where time moves thick like honey. He nodded toward my small bag of groceries and the cane hooked over my arm. I nodded toward his number and the list folded neatly in his hand. We exchanged the kind of patient smiles people give each other when they recognize a shared situation. The pharmacist finally waved me up and the clerk apologized 3 times. I told her all was well. The man behind me made the same gesture with his hand to show he was in no hurry. There was a hum in that place, fluorescent and ordinary, the kind that keeps a person feeling safely anonymous. The clerk said my copay had changed. She explained why, and I did my math carefully, the way my husband had taught me years ago. My husband was gone now 5 years, and the math came back slowly like an old tune. The total was not terrible. Still, I breathed out when I tapped my card. The man behind me said he was getting his new blood pressure med and a bottle of aspirin because he had promised his daughter he would do things right this time. He shared it as information, not as an invitation, and I would have forgotten it if he had not turned, after paying, and waited until I had taken my bag and gathered my cane. He asked if I minded walking out together since the parking lot was icy. I said I did not. He said he had salt in his trunk if my tires needed it. I said that was generous. He said his trunk was a museum of useful nonsense. We walked out slowly, side by side, and the air had that sharp, clean snap of January. I could see my breath and his. He shifted slightly toward me whenever the pavement sloped. His car was 2 spaces from mine. He opened his trunk and showed me as if we were old friends. A blanket, an old baseball cap, an emergency kit, jumper cables coiled like a sleeping snake, a sack of rock salt folded shut with a yellow clip. He shook a little salt around my rear tires without asking, as if it were an obvious courtesy. I thanked him and watched the salt melt small, clear paths through the frost. I told him my name. He told me his. He said he was 71 and had been a high school math teacher, then a part-time handyman when retirement bored him. I said I was 70 and had been a librarian, then a volunteer reading to first graders on Tuesdays. He said he had lost his wife to cancer 6 years earlier. I said I had lost my husband around the same time. He said the grocery store sometimes felt too big for one person. I nodded. The truth sat between us like another paper bag. He asked, carefully, if I ever stopped for coffee at the little diner 2 blocks away. I said sometimes. He said he was thinking of stopping now because he had not had breakfast. He said he would be happy if I would join him. His voice made it easy to say yes. It sounded like a porch in summer. The diner had a cow clock over the door and a chalkboard with a special that promised more food than either of us should eat. The waitress recognized him and asked about his knees. He asked how her mother was recovering from knee replacement. It felt like the opening of a small, friendly play. We ended up at a window booth with peeling red vinyl. We both ordered oatmeal because at our age, oatmeal feels like a good decision every time. He asked about the stack of library books in my tote. I told him I had a thing for family stories and quiet mysteries. He said he struggled with novels because his mind drifted into fixing the characters' houses. He said he liked old baseball histories and books about trains. We traded small facts the way people our age trade recipes, carefully, and with a hope that something useful will come of it. He asked for my phone number so he could check whether I got home safely on the ice. I wrote it down on a napkin with a borrowed pen. He said he did not give his number out lightly and wrote it on the back. He said he would call at 3. He called at 2:58. If you want to hear the continuation of this one-of-a-kind story, please support the channel with a subscribe, like, and comment. Part 2 is coming very soon.